Happy Friday, Internet. This has been an insane week laden with turmoil, tragedy, and debate. Your Facebook news feed is a battleground, and it's so damn noisy that it's hard to know which way is up. It's that way. That's why it's time once again to give me a few minutes of your time so I can break it all down for you. This is The Loop. A senior female ISIS agent has been exposed as a 20-something American journalism student from Seattle, Washington. News Corps Australia first broke the story, has chosen not to reveal her real name, but the woman, known as Wakas on Twitter, is responsible for persuading many young women from around the world to join the terrorist organization. Though the account has been suspended, NCA used the Twitter tracking site Favestar to comb through her posts. What they discovered was a paradoxical mix of ISIS dogma and tweets that would be considered #basic at best, from her views on pizza, her favorite food, and her love of the Super Bowl. The winky face emoji says it all. The biggest global story this week was the tragic 7.8 magnitude earthquake this past Saturday in Nepal. As of this writing, the death toll is 5,496 people, along with another 10,400 people wounded, who are being treated in hospitals across the impoverished nation. The number of dead is expected to climb as teams are still combing the countryside for survivors and bodies. Prime Minister Sushil Koirala has warned that the death toll could rise as high as 10,000 before all is said and done. However, some happy stories are emerging from the region, including the rescue of a 4-month-old baby who miraculously survived under a pile of rubble for 22 hours before being reunited with his parents. The global community has also pledged plenty of support to the Nepalese people. India has pledged 82 tons of food, water, and blankets. China has sent $3.3 million in aid, as well as a 60-person medical team. The UK has sent £5 million in aid, as well as 7 search and rescue crews with 11 tons of equipment, while the US has sent 1 disaster response team and $1 million in aid. Dominating the American news cycle this week were the ongoing protests and unrest in Baltimore following the arrest and death of Freddie Gray. We first reported on this story here. Since then, the Baltimore police have finished conducting their investigation into Gray's death and have passed their findings on to the state attorney's office without disclosing details to the public, outraging many in the community. However, one document given to the Washington Post does shed some light on the fateful 30-minute ride in a police van that cost Freddie Gray his life. A fellow prisoner in the van who rode on the other side of a metal partition heard banging sounds from Gray's side of the van and believes that Gray was trying to intentionally injure himself. At this time, there is no additional evidence to back up his claim. What we do know is that Gray was not secured in the police van, a violation of department policy. A medical examiner assigned to the case found that Gray was killed by being slammed into the back of the police van, breaking his neck. Law enforcement confirmed that one of Gray's head injuries matches a bolt in the back of the van. He asked for and was denied medical attention on 2 different occasions when the van stopped before reaching the police station. It's important to focus on this easily avoidable death rather than on demonizing protesters, which sadly is the sole focus of much of the American news coverage of this ongoing story. NASA has successfully tested their electromagnetic propulsion drive, or EM drive, in a vacuum. This is a serious breakthrough defying the known laws of physics. The conceit is that an electromagnetic microwave cavity could convert electrical energy into thrust without any propellant expulsion. The device has been in the works for 7 years and will revolutionize space travel if standardized, as it would greatly reduce weight of spacecraft and drastically reduce the amount of fuel resupply missions to the International Space Station. If such an engine were applied to the Warp Star 1 vehicle concept, the craft could make a journey from the Earth to the Moon in just 4 short hours and make it to Mars in only 70 days. Your Starbucks is changing. The coffee shop giant has begun quietly testing out new restaurant concepts in New York City, the latest being a Starbucks Express location in the financial district. The tiny walk-up space has no seats and focuses on getting customers in and out in a hurry. Customers order the drinks and pastries while still in line from a kiosk in the middle of the shop, then pay at the counter, pick up their drink, and leave out a secondary exit door. The menu is limited to drinks that can be made quickly, so items like Frappuccinos are nowhere in sight. The plan is to open 5 of these express locations in New York, then roll them out across the country and around the world. The other concept, introduced last December, is a high-end Starbucks Reserve tasting room, where coffee connoisseurs can have their bourgeois beans brewed in 6 different ways. Their ultimate aim is to phase out existing locations and transition to these more specialized concepts, though it's hard to say how long that process will take or how far-reaching its effect will be. And finally, what was hot in media this week? In music, Alabama Shake's new album Sound and Color debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200, while Yelawolf's Love Story debuted at #3. On the iTunes TV charts, The Real Housewives of New York edged out a victory over the CW's Arrow to become this week's top-selling episode, while the Tim Ferriss Experiment took home the crown in season downloads. And lastly, Furious 7 continued its domination of the American box office, adding another $17 million to its $320 million domestic gross. It is now the 35th highest-grossing American television release and the 4th highest grossing worldwide release of all time. And that's everything you need to know about the week's events. So this weekend, when you're watching The Avengers for the 1st, 2nd, or 8th time, don't talk, you're at a movie. But you can think as loud as you want that you are one smart, informed cookie, because until next Friday, you're in the loop. I'm Matt Lieberman. Thanks for watching.
As of the past recent years, all of a sudden politicians have come out of the woodworks in support of legalizing gay marriage, and my question is, where the hell were you guys in the 90s?
We are gathered here today to celebrate the death of William Shatner Haynes. And now, tonight's entertainment.